Champions League Matchday 2 is here, and we have 9 games on Tuesday, followed by another 9 on Wednesday. Let's dive into the Tuesday games in this video. Let's pare it down to 2 simple parlays, 3 games each from Tuesday's Champions League Matchday 2 predictions. If you want to get more Champions League soccer picks and info and picks from other leagues as well, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, even consider becoming a member for great extra bonus picks throughout the month. And you can also get a great sign-up bonus for new customers at signupexpert.com/shredthespread. You can get bonus bets up to $1,500 at certain sports books if you're a new customer signing up. Be sure to check that out. The link is in the comments of this video. So let's start with parlay number 1 in the Champions League on Tuesday. Stuttgart, Sparta, Prague. Stuttgart lost away to Real Madrid 3-1 on match day 1. This will be their first home Champions League game in 14 years. Sparta won at home to Salzburg 3-0 in their first game. Sparta's rolling in all competitions. They have just one loss in 29, going all the way back to a loss to Liverpool in the Europa League of March 2023. Now, only once in that time have they not scored, and no times in their past 20. Only twice in that time have their games not finished with 2 or more goals. That one loss, that did come though in their last game. They lost 3-2 this weekend. All Stuttgart games this season have seen goals in all of their games. They are also 3-2-1. Look at all competitions this season, and there's been 4 more goals in all 8 Stuttgart games, a total of 37 goals in those games. The both teams are scoring over 2.5 bet has gone 7-1. Both teams are dealing with a few defensive injuries. This one should as well see plenty of goals. Maybe both teams to score over 2.5 or simply over 2.5 goals for this parlay. Next up, Barcelona and Young Boys. Barca took a red card away to Monaco in match day 1, and they lost 2-1. So Eric Garcia will miss out here. Young Boys lost 3-0 at home to Aston Villa. Now, they've struggled in Switzerland. They're 11th right now, just 1-3-4, and they've been outscored 16-11. Barca finally suffered a loss in La Liga this weekend, losing 4-2 to Osasuna, though some players were rested for this game, and they do have a ton of injuries all over the lineup, but they have piled up goals, scoring 25 goals in 8 games. They've scored multiple goals in 7 of 9 overall matches as well. Barca should win this game, maybe by 2 or 3, or simply score 2 or 3. I'm just going to ask them to score 2, very simply, over 1.5, but certainly I wouldn't be against asking them to score more than that. We'll pair the final leg of this parlay. They're Leverkusen and AC Milan. Leverkusen went to Netherlands and they routed Feyenoord 4-0 on match day 1. AC Milan lost at home to Liverpool 3-1. They even allowed 11 shots on target. Now, Leverkusen rarely loses, with only the Europa League final loss last season and a 3-2 league loss to Leipzig as recent L's. In all competitions this season, they're 6-1-1. They're still scoring. They have 21 goals scored, but they've conceded regularly with 12 goals allowed, making both teams to score bets 6-2 in their games. There's been 3 or more goals in 6 of those 8 games as well. This weekend, they drew to Bayern in Munich 1-1. AC Milan only had a win over Venezia in their first 5 games in all competitions, and they had given up multiple goals in 4 of 5. But maybe they are turning a corner with a 2-1 win over Inter and a 3-0 win over Lecce in their past 2 games since that Liverpool loss. I would certainly lean to a Leverkusen home win here. They are in much better form, but Milan has still scored in all 7 of their games in all competitions, and Leverkusen don't exactly keep very many clean sheets. In European competition, Leverkusen's only 2 losses in 21 games have come, though, against teams from Serie A. Any player prop bets, if you were making them, they would have to feature Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen. He has a goal or an assist 24 times in his last 26 European games. Or if you were looking the Milan way, Pulisic has goals in 4 straight games here. Win or lose, Bayer Leverkusen will score. They've scored in 58 of 60 overall matches. They're not keeping clean sheets. This could be both teams to score, or simply over 1.5 for a very simple parlay of Leverkusen, Milan over 1.5, Barcelona to score 2 or more, and Stuttgart, Sparta, Prague over 2.5, coming in at minus 124 odds over at Caesars Sportsbook. You want to improve that? Ask Barcelona to score 3 instead of 2, or maybe to win by 2, or change that over 1.5 to both teams to score with Leverkusen and Milan. One more parlay, 3 games. We'll continue on Tuesday for the Champions League predictions. It's Inter Milan and Crvena, Zvezda, or Red Star Belgrade. Inter drew in England 0-0 with Man City on match day 1. Red Star lost at home to Portuguese side Benfica 2-1. Now, Red Star goes to Italy to face Serie A champions Inter Milan, who've only lost 4 times in 33 games. Now, Red Star gave up 2 against Benfica, and also 2 when they went to Norway versus Bodo Glimt during qualifying. This could be a shutout win for Inter. Inter have 13 clean sheets in 22 of their past 22 Champions League matches, and they've only lost 2 of their last 16. Despite winning the Serbian League last year, Red Star was poor in the Champions League, losing 5 of 6, and that could continue here. In fact, they've lost all 9 of their road Champions League games. Inter to win this game looks very simple, maybe to win by 2 or 3, or simply Inter to score 2 goals in the parlay. PSV and Sporting is next. PSV lost to Juve 3-1 on matchday 1. Sporting shut out Lille 2-0, though the French side took a 40th minute red card. Now the Dutch and Portuguese champions will meet here on matchday 2. For PSV, I could go back further, but if we just look at their last 27 games in all competitions, they have only 4 losses. Only one time in those 27 games have they not scored, that being against Dortmund, and also only twice in 39. They were last year's Dutch champs, setting an Eredivisie record for points with 91. They made the round of 16 in the Champions League as well. Since the Juve lost, they wanted to win 3-1 and 2-0. When playing European matches, they've not lost at home since August 2022. For Sporting, they lost in the Super Cup to Porto to start the season 4-3 in extra time, but they've been perfect since that time, winning 8 straight. All told, they've outscored opponents 30-6, scoring multiple goals in each game and keeping 6 straight clean sheets. Now, in their last 33 games, they have only 3 losses, 2 to Porto in extra time and 1 to Atalanta in the Europa League. PSV 7-0 to over 1.5 totals in the Eredivisie. Their games average 4.1 goals per match. Sporting is also 7-0 to over 1.5 totals in Portugal. Their games average 3.9 goals per match. So certainly you could throw in over 1.5. But let's make this a bit better and ask for at least a goal from both teams to score between Sporting and PSV. And we'll close out this parlay. Slovan, Bratislava, and Manchester City. Now, Slovan got pumped in Scotland, losing 5-1 to Celtic. Celtic had 61% possession, outshot them 16-8 and 11-2 shots on target. Man City drew at home to Inter 0-0. There's no need to get too creative here. Slovan may be tops in the Slovakian league at 7-0-1, but they've still allowed 11 goals in 8 games, and they just allowed 2 goals in a 4-2 win this weekend to the team ranked 11th in their Slovakian league. They just saw 5 go in versus Celtic. There's no reason not to think that Man City can't and won't score, say, 3 or maybe even more. City have not lost in 24 matches in this competition. City suffered a huge blow with a torn ACL to Rodri, but they still should cruise to victory here. This should be a win by possibly 4 or 5. Certainly, they should score at least 3. We'll go Man City over 2.5 goals, paired with Inter Milan over 1.5 goals, and both teams to score between PSV and Sporting for plus 132 odds. Those will be the 2 official parlays for Tuesday's Champions League games. We can just quickly run through the 3 other games with a few stats here. If we look at Salzburg and Brest, we'll just go for a few leans here, maybe options you want to include in other parlays. Salzburg lost matchday 1 3-0 to Sparta. Brest won 2-1 at home to Sturm Graz. Salzburg had 71% possession versus Sparta, but only 1 shot on target. Now, Salzburg is winless in their last 6 Champions League games. Brest, they're not great on defense. They also have some defensive injuries. You would think possibly Salzburg at home gets the win. At least certainly score a goal if you wanted to throw that into a parlay. There's a big game between Arsenal and PSG. Arsenal drew in Italy 0-0 to Atalanta. David Raya saved the Gunners with a double save off of Piqué. Odegaard and others will be out for Arsenal. PSG beat Girona 1-0, but scored late in the 90th minute to get that win. Now PSG are no longer the team with big stars, and they still don't have a clear dominant number 9. This game looks like it could be tight, possibly an under or a draw. Let's lean towards an under between Arsenal and PSG. And finally, Borussia Dortmund and Celtic. Dortmund won 3-0 in Belgium over Club Brugge, 3-0 on matchday 1. Celtic blew away Slovan Bratislava, 5-1 at home. In all matches, Celtic rides a 15-game winning streak right now. Dortmund were down to the lowly Bochum 2-0 on Friday in Germany before drawing 2-2 and eventually scoring late goals to win 4-2. Dortmund only lost 3 of 17 recent home European games, which is bad news for Celtic, who have never won any match in Germany, losing 9 of the past 11. And maybe even worse news considering they are 1-9 when playing away in European League games. You'd have to look towards a Dortmund win here, but Dortmund has been letting in some goals and we're very poor against Bochum. So those are my official Champions League picks for Tuesday, as well as some leans in other games. What do you like? Do you agree? Disagree? Are there any other bets that you like? Share them down there in the comments. And good luck with your Tuesday Champions League bets.